Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim there where the sense can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan. Welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Training camp is officially underway. First practice is today. We have a few key guys on the last year of their deal this season, so it got me thinking which guys may be extended before the season's over, right? So that could be during training camp, preseason, midseason. We see the Ravens like to keep their own players by doing extensions before they hit free agency for obvious reasons. Once they hit free agency, that market can go crazy and they can easily price themselves out of the Ravens offer. So getting a deal done early, you get some value for that and you give the player some security. So it is a win-win. Can the player make a tiny bit more money by going in free agency? Probably, yeah. But then you got to move, uproot your family, go to a different team, learn your role on that team, develop new chemistry. I mean, there's a lot to it. So obviously, I think you'd really want to make that move or the money would have to be substantially different. So a lot of players love Baltimore and want to stay in Baltimore. So the guys that are in contract years that would be up for an extension or an extension would make the most sense is Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, Kevin Zeitler, Justin Madubuike, Broderick Washington, Odell Beckham Jr. So I think the most important extension to get done, and this doesn't have to be a lengthy extension, but I mean just further than this season, is Kevin Zeitler. I just feel like he's been an incredible veteran signing and just a rock of stability at guard. Left guard's up in the air right now. I trust that the right guy's going to win the job and do well, but I don't want left guard and right guard to be up in the air. That's concerning. Now, we've drafted some guys that may step in, and I know somebody in the pack will step up and earn the job. But why not get Zeitler done? He's not going to have to go fetch top guard money in the NFL. He is aging. I feel like we could get it done at the right price where it makes sense for both sides and keep him in Baltimore for another 2 seasons after this one. And then he can kind of just finish his career elsewhere or just kind of retire here. I'm not sure how long he wants to play, but it's so hard to find linemen like him, and we've had a staple at right guard. Obviously, Kevin Zeitler is not Marshall Yanda. I'm not trying to say that he's that kind of rock, but I'm just saying since Marshall Yanda has left and we've brought Zeitler in, though, he's been a rock on this line. He's been someone that we can just consistently trust. He's great for Tyler Linderbaum and the younger linemen to keep learning and growing as linemen and how to play and learn how to play the game as a professional. And I just feel like we can't lose Zeitler. I feel like replacing him with a younger player stepping up is risky. And maybe we could go bring in another free agent, sure, but we already know Zeitler is the guy for the job. And he plays through injuries. He's been banged up almost every season, but this guy fights through it. He barely misses games. He's a rock for this line. I think we should get an extension done, and I think we can get an extension done with Zeitler very soon. The other big talk of the offseason has been J.K. Dobbins and whether we should extend him or is he going to hold out. He's only making a little bit over $1 million. I think it's $1.4 million this season. So he's not making a ton of money, especially for the role that he might be playing this year. So I understand the business side from both angles, right? From the team and the player. The team is, hey, you still got another year and you've had a lot of injury concerns, and we're going to let you play this year out. JK's like, I'm way more talented than making $1 million on this roster. Let's get an extension done so that I can have some security moving forward. So I don't think a J.K. Dobbins extension will get done just because I don't think they'll be able to agree on terms. I think the Ravens would be willing to do it. I think J.K. would be willing to do it for sure. But J.K. is going to ask for, I don't know, $6 to $10 million a year. I would just assume. I don't know the exact asking price of what he's saying, but that would seem to be logical from his standpoint. The franchise tag and the top running backs right now are around 10 to 12 million. Barkley just signed his deal. He's making a couple million over the franchise tag. Let's just say 12 million. So JK might want 6 to 10, right? It's not going to be too low. And that's a wide range, but the running back market is fluctuating by the hour, it feels like. So what guys were being paid last year or the year before seems to be going down. So that's why I made that range kind of wide, because I don't know exactly where he would realistically want that deal. I'm sure he wants 10 million, but I'm just saying he might take 7 a year. But I'm sure the Ravens would only offer 3 or 4 right now. He's going to have to ball out. And then most likely he hits free agency next year and either gets the deal he wants elsewhere or they can come to terms on something. But I don't see that extension getting done anytime soon. And I could be wrong. It's just my guess. I think Kevin Zeitler has a way higher chance to be extended than JK right now. Another big extension possibility is Patrick Queen. Now, I do think that can get done, especially after listening to Patrick Queen's press conference at minicamp, I believe. He seemed like they were talking, and he was very open to it. And the organization and Eric explained to him why they didn't pick up the 5th-year option, how it was purely a financial decision, and that they're still trying to work out a way for him to be here long term. Now, if I had to give a percentage of what I think the extension likelihood is, I'm going like 30%. I don't think it's super high, but it would not shock me, and I would be really excited to keep Patrick Queen next to Roquan for the next 4 or 5 years. I think that would be incredible. It would lock up the middle of our defense. We wouldn't have to worry about a thing from the linebacker position. But I think Patrick Queen's going to keep playing well. I think that he's going to shine next to Roquan, and that's going to allow him to hit free agency and get substantially more than Baltimore's willing to offer. That's the more likely scenario, in my opinion, is that he prices himself out of Baltimore. And I got that same theory for Justin Madubuike. I think Justin Madubuike is going to have his best season yet. He's going to get the most playing time and most opportunity that he's had yet. And he's going to capitalize. He's going to put up some bigger numbers. He's going to have a bigger impact than he's ever had on this defense. And that's going to price him out of Baltimore, because I don't think the Ravens are willing to give Justin Madubuike anywhere near top dollar. We've seen this before from the Ravens with mid-round draft picks. I mean, you could go back to Donnell Ellerbe, Paul Kruger, Zadarius Smith, Matthew Judon. The list goes on, but they like to get these mid to late round draft picks, keep them as depth, as rotational pieces for a few years, and then in the year before or their contract year, they start being a full-time starter. They start making a bigger impact. They really ball out, and they go get the bag somewhere else. And I think that's what's going to happen with Justin Madubuike. A higher chance is that Patrick Queen and Justin Madubuike aren't here next year. I hope that's not the case. I love both of those guys, but the price has to be right. You can't overpay, because that's not how you build a quality, well-rounded roster. And the Ravens make very smart business decisions, and I trust that they're going to continue to make smart business decisions. We'll see. This is just my take on it. Anything could happen. Patrick Queen could sign his extension tomorrow, and I'm on here making a video talking to you guys about how excited I am for Patrick Queen and Roquan to be together for the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm cool with it either way. I'm just trying to be logical and look at the situation, and I just think Zeitler has the highest chance to get extended soon. I could see him being extended in the next few months. And those other guys I feel like are going to wait. The last big name really is Odell Beckham Jr. Now, he has void years on his deal. I feel like his extension is almost mandatory. I feel like it will happen. They signed Odell knowing that they're probably going to have to extend him, because you wouldn't put back-to-back $12 million dead cap hit void years if you thought there was a high chance that he was just going to be a 1-year rental and you're going to let him walk. Now, that could happen. Obviously, things could go sour this year. You know, Odell could battle injuries. You know, anything could happen. I'm not saying that he's guaranteed to get an extension. It's just with the void years, I feel like the Ravens are going to try and get an extension done, probably during the season. They're going to see how Odell plays, and they're going to be like, hey, let's keep you in Baltimore. Let's extend him 2 more years and spread this money out a little bit. That seems to be by far the most logical scenario, because if we just let him walk, we're eating $12 million for him to not be on the team. And I know a lot of teams carry a ton of dead cap money, but it's bad business. It's not a way to build a future roster to keep a bunch of money that you can't use in the cap for players that aren't there anymore. I don't like that at all. Obviously, things happen, and sometimes you have to accrue some dead money, but this ain't one of those scenarios, in my opinion. They brought in Odell on a 1-year, $15 million deal, but those void years are telling me that they're going to try everything they can to keep him here for at least another year or two. So I think an Odell extension will get done sometime throughout this season, and that leaves me with Zeitler and Odell being the top two guys that I think can get extended. And then Patrick Queen, Justin Madubuike, and J.K. Dobbins are more unlikely, in my opinion, but are not off the table at all. So there's a bunch of guys who could get extended this year. Let me know who you think is extended. Who do you want to get extended? Who would you like to get extended right now? And who would you like to let play out? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy these training camp highlights later, and I'll see you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.